Hi, I'm Brian Grant, and you're listening to On Time, the Brian Grant Foundation podcast about living with Parkinson's. If you want to know more about Brian Grant Foundation, go to briangrant.org.
Thank you for listening to this podcast, which is made possible by the generous support of our donors. Please consider supporting our programs to empower people impacted by Parkinson's to lead active and fulfilling lives by making a donation at briangrant.org.
Hi, I'm Larry Gifford, host of this season's Brian Grant Foundation podcast On Time and president of the PD Avengers at pdavengers.com. For the next 4 weeks, we're going on a fun and thoughtful journey through life after a Parkinson's diagnosis. And yes, friends, let me tell you, there is life after diagnosis. At times it's vibrant, messy, creative, moving, and funny, but it's life. Today's episode is all about tapping into creativity, whether it's hobbies or activities or a new calling. These are the things many of us have discovered and rediscovered since hearing those 3 words. You have Parkinson's. For some, it's golf or pickleball. For others, it's painting or pottery, journaling, improv, cruising, or boxing. It turns out a Parkinson's diagnosis can unlock something inside of us, a kind of permission slip to explore passions we hadn't prioritized before. And research backs that up. Engaging in expressive activities not only brings joy, but supports motor skills, cognitive function, and emotional well-being. I had the opportunity to sit down with folks across generations, from their 30s to their 70s, about how Parkinson's sparked new chapters in their life. Let's first hear from Bill Buckalew, Jimmy Choi, Kevin Kwok, and Yvonne Jackson as they talk about the benefits of discovering new activities.
Golf. I wasn't a huge golf fan, but all my friends started playing golf, and I was terrible. And I learned how to swing properly, and I just couldn't control it. I was all over the place. And then I said, I'm just going to take what I can do and see what happens. And now I'm not hitting drives 200 yards. I'm hitting 170 yards, but they're fairly straight. And I'm literally just taking my backswing about half as far as you go and just chucking the ball like that. And it seems to work.
And no matter what happens, I will always outdrive him.
He's talking about a car, not on the car. He's got a faster car.
So I could tell you my good friend Davis Finney talked me into getting an e-bike. And I fought it for forever. I said, I'm not ready yet for an e-bike. And once I switched over, I'll never go back.
I tried to play golf. It was helpful in that I got to whack that ball as far as I could whack it just to get energy out of my system.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's like boxing. You just want to crash that bag and get all your frustrations out in that moment. So I guess I'll say golf.
Okay. Dr. Anna Donnelly is another remarkable voice. In addition to her work as an academic and researcher, she found joy and reflection in silk painting after her diagnosis. Her art, both visual and written, has been featured by Dharma Trading Company, and her story is a beautiful example of creativity as healing.
I've turned to doing a lot of artwork. I do books that I write, and then I illustrate.
And what does that do for you?
It gives me a way of focusing my thoughts and getting absorbed in something that is far away from what goes on in the rest of the world. It's a wonderful meditation, if you will.
I do the same thing with Lego, where I just have a ton of Lego and I just go and play with Lego and zone out and get in my wife calls it my bubble.
I never tried Legos, but
it's good for fine motor as well. Another artist I had a pleasure to talk with is Margaret Burns-Kohn. After nearly 3 decades in the corporate world, she retired at 66, was diagnosed in 2015, and has been rewriting her story ever since. She underwent deep brain stimulation in 2023. Not only did it help her tie her own shoes again, it recharged her independence. Margaret now co-hosts Make Shit Happen, a podcast filled with raw, real stories of living with Parkinson's. And she runs Marg's Pod Productions. She is as fearless in her art as she is in her advocacy.
Coming from a not creative environment, retail is driven by money. I didn't have I didn't spend my life, nor did I know that I had a little bit of creativity in my body. And all I can say is I'm grateful to Parkinson's for using me as a host, not only for advocacy, but also to find things that bring me joy every day. Because I want to back up a little bit. When I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, I remember reading up about it, and all I could see and read and digest was what it was going to be like. And I thought, but what's it like today? Where can I find joy today? Because looking at the future certainly wasn't a joyful experience. So I decided to be that person that was not going to research what was down the road, but I was going to find things that would bring me joy every day. And I also knew that this would change because it is a progressive disease and the symptoms change. And I'm different to everybody else. So people need to know that this is my journey. This is my journey, my symptoms. And if you have Parkinson's, yours could be something like that. Probably not, because they say not two persons have the same symptoms. So I decided to use art because I felt I could express myself using art than, say, a normal job. And it takes up that time that I have side effects. It takes up that time that my button is on off. It takes up that time of restlessness and calms my body down.
So would you say it's positively impacted your mental health?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yes.
I mean, that's one of the big issues with Parkinson's is that people have these, I think we're all in therapy, but it's like we can't get over our own thoughts, our own, our depression, and it's part of the disease, or apathy, or, so it's great that you can find your way through that through painting.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. My house is my gallery. It is also my studio. So I can, like last night, 2:00, I couldn't fall asleep. I think things were sort of going in my mind. And, when Parkinson's takes control of your mind, it just is like, yay, this is a party. Let me keep it going. I can get up and go to my studio and paint. And I find that within a few minutes, I've got a rhythm going. I also listen to music. I've got a rhythm going and the paint is working well. And I've got the ideas and my brain forgets that I have Parkinson's. And I sort of just cruise that as long as I can.
And what kind of music do you listen to?
I am a multi-genre music person, music buff. I will tell you that I thought that classical music would be a good method of relaxing my brain. But I find that not to be true. It's like yoga. I can't do yoga because it's when I go into a yoga position, my brain is saying, yep, this is the time. You can move and move and move. Or, just keep thinking about stuff. Don't relax. I find that, I know this sounds really ridiculous, but rap, for some reason, has the top priority. I think it's that hard beat that my brain clicks into and uses. So, yeah, I listen to rap. I do still listen to classical. I played the piano for many, many, many years. I was a classical pianist. So I appreciate classical music. It just doesn't work for me with Parkinson's.
And does your art help you in helping process your emotions?
Oh, yeah. It's really, it's weird. All I can say, it really is weird. Really, I'm not the artist. The paint and the canvas is the artist, because they will tell me throughout the process what that painting is about. And usually when I look at it and I think about what's on that canvas, I can see where my emotions have been. For instance, I was doing a Valentine's. It was Valentine's Day, and I was just putting red and gold and hearts and a bunch of stuff on a piece of canvas. And I kept changing it and changing it and changing it. And at the end, I looked at it and I said, there's the story. I must be thinking about Valentine's Day. So it happens that it feels my emotion for that specific time.
Now, when you finish a project, does it boost your self-esteem? Or is it time to start over? Or like it's...
I never finish a project until I put it in a position in my home that when I come down the stairs in the morning, that's the first thing I see. And if I say, yep, that's it, I don't do another thing to it. If my mind goes, this has to go, I start all over again. So it's the first feeling I get in the morning when I see that. I will know exactly what to do with it.
Could you share any stories you have about the power of expression to overcome the challenges of PD?
Okay, so for me, and this is my journey, for me, I own Parkinson's. I don't have one caregiver. Now, pre-DBS, I had to have my kids help me because I couldn't tie my shoelaces. I wouldn't go out to restaurants to eat with friends because I couldn't get the fork to my mouth. And when I did, there was no food left on it. So it really took away the quality of my life. Post DBS, I went through a grieving process because, you know what, I thought to myself, okay, so now I can do all these things. I don't have any tremors. I can tie my shoelaces. I can play tennis. I can climb mountains. I can do all these things that I'm used to doing. So what am I going to manage? It was like I had abandoned my job. So I just went back and I said to myself, okay, so now you're not CEO of Parkinson's, you're Parkinson's anymore. You just manage it. So I decided that I was not going to talk to any of my family or friends about, hey, look, when it gets to that position in life that I need a caregiver, could you take care of this? I decided to manage this on my own. And I will say that people that I've spoken to, I'm very honest with them. You own this disease. It's yours. You've got it. You've got to find a way, because it's a different way of life, Larry. You know that. You have to change a lot of things, but you can change them for the good.
Yeah.
I don't know what type of person I would be if I did not have Parkinson's and if I did not go on this journey. I don't think I would find joy in every day. And I can't remember laughing as much as I do laugh now.
We're going to dive deeper into humor and laughter in future episodes, but in the meantime, we'd love to hear your funny Parkinson's moments. Share them at speakpipe.com/ontime. Check out the pod notes for a link. A recent Dutch study, April 2025, looked at how creativity changes after a Parkinson's diagnosis. They surveyed nearly 800 people and found 41% experienced a shift in creativity. Some felt more creative, some less, and for some it came in waves. They found the biggest boosts in areas like painting, writing, movement, sports, and even daily creativity like crafting or cooking. Some of those creative sparks may be tied to medications used in treatment, something researchers are now starting to pay a lot more attention to. And that brings us to 3 more inspiring voices. Allie Signorelli, Jimmy Choi, and Michael Fitz, each finding creative sparks through photography, movement, and storytelling.
Rock climbing.
What does it do for you?
I don't know, I'm bad at it, but it's good exercise. Jimmy will tell you what it's good for me for, but it makes my arms hurt.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good because it's a good community.
Okay.
It makes my brain think about what I'm doing.
Okay. Multitasking.
Exercise.
Okay.
I started playing a lot of games, a lot of like word games, a lot of mindful board games like backgammon, like strategy involved, things like that, just to keep my brain sharp. And I think I'm at a stage where I feel like I might be starting to lose more of my cognitive functions. So like playing these games, I feel like it's helping me a little bit.
Good. I've been doing a lot of photography. Well, that's cool being out in nature, kind of communing with nature outside. So it's great.
What do you photograph?
I do all kinds of things. Nature, I do all of them. Nature is probably my favorite one. Birds, water, bodies of water. I think those are gorgeous. So, hey, I get it. I love photography too. There's something really sacred about capturing a fleeting moment. One of the most original thinkers I think I've come across is Kuhan Pushparatnam. He's a London-based advocate and innovator who has been diagnosed with young-onset Parkinson's since he was 38 years old. And like many of us, his creativity exploded post-diagnosis.
Well, exactly 11 years. As of a few days ago, January 4th was my Parkiversary, as we say. It's an easy one for me to remember because it's the day after my birthday. So New Year, followed by my birthday, followed by a Parkinson's diagnosis. Easy one to remember.
One of the things you've done in that time is you created a podcast with your friend Dave. It's called Two Parkies in a Pod. Can you tell me a bit about how that came about and some of the things you do with the podcast?
Yeah, sure. Dave's a good friend and a neighbour. He lives just down the road from me here in southwest London. And I reached out to him a few years ago. I knew who he was because he was a presenter on Sky Sports, a familiar face to me. And this was during COVID. And I thought, it'd be great to connect with another Parkie, especially a local one. Because, I don't meet many people with Parkinson's or hadn't at that point. I just reached out to Dave and said, let's meet up, have a beer and compare notes. I find Parkinson's can be quite isolating in the sense that it's very difficult for non-Parkies to understand what it's like living with this condition day in, day out. But when you talk to somebody else with the condition that's living in your shoes, okay, they might not have exactly the same flavour of Parkinson's as you do. But yeah, Two Parkies in a Pod was born, and we just recorded the conversation and invited guests on, whether it's others with the condition or healthcare professionals in the field. We've done 25 episodes now, and it's been a very rewarding experience.
Do you find that Parkinson's has kind of made you more creative? So I do this YouTube channel. I really enjoy doing that, and it's not something I would have done before. And I sort of have lots of ideas. Do you find a similar thing?
Definitely. Whether it's the condition itself or more the whole dopamine factor.
I think the dopamine replacement therapy gives you a bit of a boost, doesn't it?
A huge boost. Yeah. I mean, the way that I would evidence this is that I've taken on my phone over the course of my Parkinson's journey, 10, 11 years, 150,000 photos. I've run out of storage on my phone, and it's an obsession, and creativity and obsession are themes in Parkinson's. And for me, they've coincided. It's one of the positives I take from Parkinson's, and there aren't many, but I've become a lot more creative, and I edit the podcast as well, and that's also has a creative element to it as well, and I find it very satisfying.
Kuhan recently shared his story on the Lived Health Parkinson's YouTube channel with Jodie Forbes. Definitely worth checking out. Almost anything can count as creativity, even arithmetic, according to Margaret Burns-Kohn.
Arithmetic. Man, I tell you, that was, I don't know if I could have managed it if I hadn't done the arithmetic. So just so you know, the arithmetic was, when I was diagnosed, I went on to some research. And I had decided that the first thing that would probably go with me would be my balance and my walking, my gait. So me not doing research as well as I should have, I decided that, so it's going to take away my ability to walk and exercise. So maybe climbing Mount Kilimanjaro will help me with that. So I booked a trip and climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
We think differently.
And then I read that my speech would be not so good. So I thought, well, if I can't talk that well, I'm just going to have a podcast. So I decided I'd have a podcast because I would have to talk. So every time it took something away from me, I just bounced back and added something to it.
You're collaborating with your Parkinson's.
Yeah. I still, even with these devices, I still use that theory because I know I'm not going to win this game of arithmetic. I mean, I'm not going to win it, but I can challenge it every step of the way, and it gives me joy to go, okay, I got one day out of this arithmetic that I was able to play tennis because yesterday you made my balance off. So I'm going to do something to show you that I can still balance. So it's a very personal and private vendetta with Parkinson's.
As for me, sure, I take more photos than I used to. I edit podcasts, and I've fallen hard for improv. I'm proud to be a founding member of Canada's first Parkinson's improv performance troupe. It was started by my buddy Dan Dumsha, a fellow Vancouverite improv artist, TEDx speaker, and husband to my neurologist, who believes sharing control is good for your health.
It all started with Parkinson's disease. My husband Jonathan is a neurologist, and he specializes in Parkinson's. So we were inspired to start an improv program with his patients that allowed them to connect and cope with their diagnosis. Over a few workshops, I taught folks how to improvise. And through that process, we mounted a show for their friends and family. Well, it was a hit because these new performers connected, shared control, and trusted each other in front of an audience. When improv invites you to share control, it can cause great connection and improve wellness. Sharing control is at the heart of improv. It allows you to accept others' ideas and collaborate. So whenever I teach an improv workshop or lead a corporate session, I start by creating a brave space. There are 3 pillars of this brave space that I want to share with you. Seeking positivity, welcoming mistakes, and inspiring your partner. When you give up control, fear will cause you to focus on the negative. Improv has a foundational principle that has positivity baked in. Yes, and. Yes is accepting the idea, and is adding to it or building to it. I notice that fear and control start to surface when new improvisers begin their scene work. They'll try to control by starting scenes like this. You're not allowed in here. That sweater is hideous. We don't like you. It's an attempt to control. And you can seek the positive and start those scenes with the same character choice. Welcome. I've been waiting for you. That sweater is fabulous. We've been talking, and you're our favorite. Those scenes are going to start with connection, and they're going to go somewhere great. So, when you're sharing control, seek positivity. The second pillar of creating this brave space is to welcome mistakes. When you're in fear, and in fear of mistakes, you will avoid them at all costs. Because you may think these mistakes are going to lead to humiliation or embarrassment. Mistakes are an affront to perfectionism. There are these 2 words in our language, should and supposed to. We have a saying in my family, don't should on me, and I won't should on you. The third pillar of brave space is inspire your partner. When fear comes up, you focus on yourself and your experience and what's happening with you. And the challenge is to think about your partner or your audience. That connects you to curiosity and connection and creativity. If you're shaking, if you're sweating, if you're turning red, It's about you. It's what's happening in your body, and it's okay. If you fight it, it will get worse. But what you can do is focus on what you're there to share with your audience, what you want to give to them. And it channels those nerves into purpose so that you don't get rid of the butterflies in your stomach, but you get them to fly in formation. By taking that focus off of you, you can put it onto what you'd like to do and that connection that you want to make. In our improv classes, when folks focus on inspiring their partner, it's amazing how they get more collaborative, they get better at listening, and they really do share control.
Improv for me is so much more than entertainment. It helps with tracking conversations, reacting in real time, using facial expressions. And let's be honest, it guarantees laughter in my week. It's always a win. Whatever your passion, painting, sculpting, gaming, journaling, yoga, boxing, gardening, dancing, do-it-yourself projects, puzzles, singing, sports, whatever. Lean into it. These creative outlets remind us we're still growing, we're still curious, still alive. Next week on Time. You can't fly away from Parkinson's disease, but we can help you travel with confidence and calm. Tips, stories, and a few sky-high surprises next week. Don't forget to visit us online at briangrant.org. There you'll find creative classes, community workshops, and the tools to live well with Parkinson's together. For everyone at the Brian Grant Foundation, I'm Larry Gifford. We'll talk again soon.
The Brian Grant Foundation empowers people impacted by Parkinson's to lead active and fulfilling lives. Help support our efforts at briangrant.org. A special thank you to Raphael Sadiq for providing the music for this podcast. This podcast is produced by Brian Griggs. Learn more at griggsproductions.com.